I'm Andrew Edwards, and you're watching Gear Live. A few days ago at an event in New York City, Samsung announced its brand new Galaxy Note 9 smartphone. Judging by the looks on the outside, you may assume that not much has changed from last year, but Samsung did make some pretty big changes on the inside of the phone. And today I'm gonna give you a look at the top 5 features of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, sponsored by Qualcomm. What is going on, Tech Squad? Andrew Edwards here, editor-in-chief for GearLife.com. If this is your first time here, this channel is all about tech, gadgets, and gaming. So if you're into that kind of stuff, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below along with the bell notification icon so you don't miss any future videos. And as a reminder, by the way, we do now have a membership feature for all you who want to get more official with the Tech Squad. Hit the join button below this video to find out more about how you can get exclusive perks directly from me. Now, as I said, today we are taking a look at the top 5 features of this phone right here. This is the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Now, as I mentioned on the outside, it looks pretty similar to what Samsung released last year with the Galaxy Note 8. In fact, it's so similar that the only thing I can see at first glance that's obvious is that the fingerprint reader has moved away from being placed right next to the flash, and they've moved it underneath the camera module. That in and of itself is a welcome feature as far as I'm concerned. Now, the good things you liked about the hardware last year, like the fact that it has a headphone jack, that still remains, and the confusing things about last year, like the fact that it has a dedicated button to bring up Bixby, that remains as well. But as I said, we're here to talk about what's new. So today I've got 5 features I want to talk to you about that make the Galaxy Note 9 something you might want to consider. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, this video is sponsored by Qualcomm. Qualcomm makes the Snapdragon 845, and the Snapdragon 845 is what's powering a majority of the features. The Galaxy Note 9 takes advantage of the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 with cutting-edge LTE, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth features. That includes 2nd generation Gigabit LTE, which supports peak download speeds of 1.2 gigabits per second. It's also got Qualcomm's aptX audio, which allows the Galaxy Note 9 to support consistent high-quality sound over Bluetooth to supported wireless headsets and speakers. Now, compared to the Galaxy Note 8, the Galaxy Note 9 has a 53% faster CPU and a 23% faster GPU. Now, again, that's powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, and that should give you an idea of the amount of power that Samsung has packed into this device. So knowing how impressive those specs are, let's jump into the top 5 features of the Galaxy Note 9. Now, let's start with one of everybody's favorite features, mine included, and that's gonna be the camera. The Samsung Galaxy Note 9 features a dual camera system similar to what you'd find on the Galaxy S9 Plus. It sports a dual aperture wide lens, which can switch between f2.4 and f1.5, and it's also got a telephoto lens as well. Both cameras will shoot the same scene when zoomed in, allowing you to save the view from both cameras. The cameras also have dual optical image stabilization and the live focus feature, which we've seen on previous devices as well. That's the feature that allows you to change the amount of blur behind your subject, both before and after the photo is taken. Now, the Qualcomm Snapdragon does show its chops here in the camera specifically, as it allows for a few specific features. First of all, that super slow-mo feature that we saw on the S9 is carried over to the Note 9. That allows you to shoot at 480 frames per second at 720p. Speaking of high frame rates, the Galaxy Note 9 can also shoot 4K at 60 frames per second thanks to the Snapdragon 845 as well. And that same processor also allows for the great low-light photography and the near instant autofocus that you'll find when using the camera. One other interesting feature is the scene optimizer. It utilizes Qualcomm's AI engine to identify the elements of a photo to categorize it into one of 20 different types and instantly optimizes the photo based on the category. For example, you may be taking a photo in sunset, or you may be taking a photo of food or an animal. It'll automatically apply changes to brightness, contrast, saturation, and white balance before you take the photo to ensure the best possible end result. Also, a new flaw detection feature that will let you know if a shot was blurry, if someone blinked, or if an image was too backlit or blown out. So as you can see, the camera is pretty impressive here on the Note 9. Samsung was able to pack in a bunch of extra features into the camera software, thanks in large part to the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845. Now let's move on to another feature. This one isn't apparent when looking at the phone, but it is very apparent when using the phone, and that is the battery life. The battery life on the Galaxy Note 9 is stellar due to the 4,000 milliamp hour battery. That's right, on the inside is a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which is the largest battery that's ever been included in a Samsung Galaxy Note phone. It's also larger than almost every other Android flagship's battery that you'll find today. Now, in addition to running the Note 9 battery through its own multi-point safety check, Samsung says they've also done extensive third-party verification as well. Specifically, Samsung says they've had the phone validated and certified by outside companies UL and Exponent. Now, the reason for that, if you weren't around back then or weren't paying attention back then, the Galaxy Note 7 failed spectacularly due to battery problems. The phone was actually exploding, blowing up. Samsung recalled it, re-engineered the phone, re-released it, and it started blowing up again, and they had to pull the phone and cancel it completely. So last year with the Galaxy Note 8, Samsung was a bit more hesitant to put a huge battery in that phone. That was actually a disappointment from a lot of people, the fact that the Note 8 didn't have that large battery. So now we're back, Note 9, good job Samsung, 4,000 milliamp hours. It'll take you a long, long time before you run out of juice. So basically what you've got there is all day battery life. All right, next big feature, again, another one that's not apparent from the outside. It really is what's on the inside that counts here, and that is the storage capacity. I need to give a big shout out to Samsung for starting the Note 9 at 128 gigabytes of storage. That is the entry-level storage amount. Just a couple of years ago, I was complaining about companies releasing phones with 8 gigabytes or even 16 gigabytes of storage at the bare minimum, which was just too small an amount for this day and age. Samsung's been shipping phones with 64 gigabytes of storage at the base level for a few years now, but I was surprised to see that this year with the Note 9, they're starting at 128 gigabytes bare minimum with 6 gigabytes of RAM built in. Now that entry-level phone will cost you $999, basically $1,000, but they didn't stop there. They also have a second model which you can buy, which packs in 512 gigabytes of storage, built right into the phone. Now, if you opt for the 512 gigabyte storage model, you are also going to get, instead of 6 gigabytes of RAM, 8 gigabytes of RAM. 512 gigabytes of storage, 8 gigabytes of RAM. That model will sell for $1,249. So basically $1,250. So again, $1,000 for 128 gigabytes and 6 gigs of RAM, or pay $250 more and get 512 gigabytes and 8 gigabytes of RAM. But Samsung didn't stop there. Whether you get the 128 or the 512 gigabyte version, it also still has the built-in SD card slot. Built-in SD card slot is in the SIM tray, and that SD card slot supports up to 512 gigabytes when using a micro SD card. So in other words, if you buy a 512 gigabyte Samsung Galaxy Note 9, and then you get a 512 gigabyte external micro SD card, you put that in the phone, and you have a phone that has 1 terabyte of storage space. I think that's pretty much unmatched in current generation smartphones. 1 terabyte of storage right here in your hand, pretty impressive. Now the phone is pretty big, and we have seen 1 terabyte SSDs out there, but those SSDs are pretty expensive. So being able to pack in the same amount of storage as you would get on a dedicated external SSD right into your Galaxy Note 9, super impressive. All right, let's jump over to another one of my favorite features. Number 4 on my list has got to be the new and improved S Pen. This time around, Samsung is upgrading the S Pen in a big way. It's adding Bluetooth Low Energy, turning the stylus from a mere note-taking accessory into a full-fledged remote control for your phone. The addition of Bluetooth adds a few cool features to the S Pen. For example, now it functions as a remote camera shutter, letting you take pictures from up to 30 feet away. There's also a presentation mode that lets you control a slideshow remotely when using Samsung's DeX feature. The S Pen will also let you play and pause music and video as well. Pressing and holding the button opens the camera by default, but you can change that shortcut to launch any app of your choosing. Samsung says it's going to be opening up the S Pen's new Bluetooth features to developers later this year. Now you may hear Bluetooth features and think, okay, so the S Pen is now using way more energy than it used to. And that is true, it does take power to run the S Pen now, but the beauty of it is that it charges right here in the S Pen storage slot. If the S Pen runs out of battery, you put it in that slot and it will charge to full in under 1 minute. However, if you're in the middle of writing and you don't have a minute to spare, you'll be happy to know that the S Pen still functions as a stylus and writing tool even when the battery is completely dead. And now, last but not least on my list of my top 5 features on the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 has to be obvious. This one is obvious when looking at the phone, and that is this gorgeous display. The Samsung Galaxy Note 9 sports a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED Quad HD Plus display, and as you can see, this display looks amazing. That's thanks in part to the 516 pixels per inch, giving it a 2960 by 1440 resolution. The display is large enough to play games on, which by the way is interesting because Samsung did announce Fortnite coming to the Samsung Galaxy line of phones. Here you can see some footage of Asphalt 9 running on that large display. You're basically holding, for all intents and purposes, what feels like a small tablet. The display is also optimized for YouTube. YouTube did give this its stamp of approval because the phone does support multiple resolutions and can decode YouTube's VP9 codec. In addition, you can also watch movies in HDR as well. That's high dynamic range, giving you even more colors and better contrast than on screens that don't include that feature. So there you have it, guys. That was your look at Samsung's brand new Galaxy Note 9. This starts shipping on August 24th from carriers as well as from Samsung directly if you want to buy one and get it unlocked. On the outside, it looks similar to last year, but on the inside, thanks to that Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, we're getting a new and refreshed Galaxy Note experience. Now I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Is this a phone that's on your list? Are you picking this up? Are you skipping it for something different or something better? Drop a comment down below. I will meet you there for further discussion. Don't forget, you can now join the Tech Squad officially by hitting the join button right underneath this video. Well, if you're on Android or the YouTube webpage. If you're on iOS, there's a link in the description below as well to show you all the perks and exclusives that the Tech Squad is getting, including early videos, custom emoji, custom badges, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like, and don't forget you can always click or tap on my face here at the bottom of the screen in order to subscribe for free to the channel so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks so much for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I'll catch you in the next video.